This is ABC7 News at 5:30. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. Now, Tropical Storm Maria is still impacting the east coast of the United States after leaving so much destruction across Puerto Rico.
President Trump is expected to visit the island next week, and the governor there is now warning of a humanitarian crisis. ABC's Danya Backus shows us the current conditions in Puerto Rico and the effort to help the storm survivors.
Utter devastation in Puerto Rico.
The biggest catastrophe in Puerto Rican history.
The island's governor saying the situation is growing more dire by the minute. Only 5% of electricity has been restored, much of the water is undrinkable, and the 3.4 million U.S. citizens there are suffering an unbearable heat without basic supplies.
Everyone basically is fighting in the stores, in the streets, in the gas lines. You know, it's really survival mode right now.
And after days of waiting, there are now hugs of relief. The first wave of people leaving Puerto Rico arriving Monday night at JFK Airport in New York.
We saw trees falling down. We saw billboards in the middle of the streets.
There's families sleeping on the highway.
Yep, sleeping on the highway.
President Trump saying he will head to the hurricane-ravaged island next Tuesday. A U.S. Navy hospital ship now heading there to help.
It is requiring us to push forward a lot of resources, including the USS Comfort, which is on the way.
Other states now joining in the effort to help. A donated United plane leaving Chicago heading to Puerto Rico loaded with supplies.
We would just want to make sure that it goes directly to people.
Maria is heading north off of the East Coast. In North Carolina, hundreds of tourists are now leaving as mandatory evacuations and preparations for the storm are underway. At the beginning of October, the White House is also expected to send a disaster relief aid request for Puerto Rico, but some are worried it might be too late. Danya Backus, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, it's now been a week since Hurricane Maria, then Hurricane Maria, slammed into Puerto Rico, leaving most of the island devastated and its people in despair, as you just saw. Now a group of people in Sarasota are doing what they can, trying to get the bare essentials to those in need. ABC7's Dwayne Lindo is here with more on those efforts. Dwayne?
Well, Scott, it's been extremely tough for those involved. We have physicians here in Sarasota from as far as North Carolina and Delaware waiting to help in any way they can.
We are trying to do everything possible to help Puerto Rico.
Founder of the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce of Florida, Elizabeth Cuevas-Naunder, has been answering the phones all week, trying to provide aid for residents on the island, and more importantly, speaking to her loved ones.
I have no news of my families. I have no news of many small businesses that I work with there.
Nervous about her family, it's been a tough week, essentially seeing Hurricane Maria destroy her home country.
Right now, there are many areas where hunger is hidden and thirst, and the temperature is high. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's doing fine.
Naunder is teaming up with Sarasota physician Dr. Diaz Ramirez, putting together a plan for a country with more than 11,000 people in shelters. But there's a problem. Phone service and power is scarce. The largest airport on the island is still crippled a week after the huge storm, making it a logistical nightmare for Diaz Ramirez to send a group of physicians ready to provide adequate health care.
We have one of them in our house who just traveled 11 hours to get to our house to get into this team. And he's been here for 2 days already, not knowing if he's even leaving tomorrow because of the paperwork.
She's also heading a local effort to collect the bare essentials, such as clothing, toiletries, and food.
A group of physicians, dentists, and teachers locally. We have set up different centers for collections.
Even putting together a Facebook page called SRQ Helps Puerto Rico, all in an effort to help residents any way they can, urging anyone with family still there to hold on to hope.
Whenever they call you, it's like, you know, how are you? What can we do? And a plan of action. Have that ready for when that family member calls you, because you don't know if when you're saying hello, that's the last time you hear them for days.
Now at this point, Dr. Diaz Ramirez, whom you just saw there, has about 5 physicians just waiting to hop on an airplane down to Puerto Rico to provide aid. But until that airport is operable, all they can do is wait. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Dwayne. Governor Rick Scott says Florida is committed to helping Puerto Rico in any way possible throughout the recovery process. He has notified the Florida National Guard and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission to be on standby for deployment as soon as we receive a formal request from Puerto Rico. Scott is also asking Florida state colleges and universities to allow students displaced by the storm in Puerto Rico to be offered in-state tuition.
Follow up now on the efforts to get scattered storm debris off the streets and curbs of the Suncoast. Crews with the city of Sarasota and contractors are working north to south throughout neighborhoods 7 days a week, collecting all that storm debris. So far, they've collected 178 loads, which translates to about 5,700 cubic yards of debris. Public work crews are also picking up all the limbs and branches, and in total, nearly 7,000 cubic yards have been picked up so far.
Fishermen in the Florida Keys are getting some help from the air to find lobster traps that were lost during Hurricane Irma. Florida Sea Grant is sending 2 aircrafts with GPS-capable cameras over the island chain to document the locations of lobster trap clusters in the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. The pilots are trained to identify areas where currents and winds pull the traps, buoys, and fishing lines all together. The data will then be shared with fishermen and state wildlife officials trying to salvage the equipment. The lobster fishing industry is worth $150 million in the Keys alone. Certainly a big hit to that industry in that area.
Yeah, big business in the Florida Keys. Let's get more on our weather right now with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob?
Thanks, Jacqueline and Scott. We're looking at some showers and storms on the inland areas pushing off toward the east right now. Mayaca City and looks like in eastern portions of Manatee County now entering into Hardy and also DeSoto County. Some pretty big showers there, even a isolated thunderstorm or two not out of the question. You see Northport, this shower moving away. It had been around earlier this afternoon. As I said, the heaviest rain by far near Mayaca City, up near Mayaca Head, and then places to the east thereof. These storms are pushing off to the east right now. Quite a bit of activity associated with that sea breeze that has developed, and just enough moisture in the air to kick those storms off. But notice all is quiet along I-75 up to 275, and then stretching down southward to Venice and Inglewood and Northport. Things have calmed down there considerably. Currently at the airport, we have lots of sunshine out there and temperatures into the low 80s right near the coast. Dew point is at 74, and the pressure now 29.85 inches. Winds out of the west-northwest, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles an hour. Well, Maria, no longer a hurricane, but still a tropical storm. Winds at 70 miles an hour. They have hurricane force gusts. It's being sheared apart a little bit, and you can see we're getting some of those outer bands, or at least the outer part of that along the outer banks of North Carolina, causing some tropical storm force winds. More in our forecast in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Some NFL players went from protesting the national anthem to standing against comments made by President Trump. Entire NFL rosters, including coaches and owners, stood with locked arms after the president made derogatory comments towards the players who choose to kneel during the anthem. These peaceful protests started last season in opposition to apparent police brutality against African Americans. And while it hasn't trickled down to high school football players on the Suncoast, some coaches say a dialogue has started in the locker rooms.
There's a player that kind of made mention at one point of taking a knee. That's an educational moment, so we took it upon ourselves to kind of have a discussion with the players and never telling them one way or the other of what to do, but just kind of opening up their eyes to, you know, what is the national anthem? What does it stand for? Is that a place? Is that a platform to take a stance?
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7, local civil rights leaders and veterans join the conversation on these national anthem protests. The NFL's deal to stream Thursday night football on Amazon Prime kicks off this week. Amazon Prime will stream Thursday night games live across devices to a global audience. The games will now be available to tens of millions of Amazon Prime members. The deal extends the NFL's digital presence and builds on its partnership with Amazon on the nominated series called All or Nothing.
New developments tonight involving a Suncoast golf course that has been closed for more than 2 years. The Sable Trace property in Northport has a new owner once again. Mark Geringer, who owns the Tampa-based company GNP Development Partners, purchased the course in late September, but he has not revealed what he plans to do with the property. However, Geringer's name has been attached to the course before. Just last year, he eyed buying the property, and at that time, he had plans to create a golf course as well as a clubhouse and an additional 220 to 250 single-family homes.
Well, still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, new research involving teens confirms what many doctors have feared.
How common concussions are for athletes in contact sports, straight ahead.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
It's no small wonder anybody loves it all.
I just love art that moves me.
No small,
I mean really moves me.
One.
Sunset Fiat of Sarasota presents No Small Wonder. High performance style. Let the art of Fiat move you.
It's Willamania at the Players Center as the Will Rogers Follies takes the stage September 27th. Part homespun humor and part Ziegfeld Follies, this toe-tapping Tony Award musical is the start of our wild Broadway series. So call the Players at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. You need to catch Willamania.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has recently warned about an increased risk of leg and foot amputations associated with the use of certain diabetic medications such as Invokana and Invokamet. If you or a loved one took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation, ketoacidosis, kidney failure, or even death, call the Rely On group now. We are here to help you get the justice you deserve. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-355-8205. That's 800-355-8205.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Concussions and kids are a bad mix that many parents and doctors have feared for years.
Now there are new numbers on exactly how many young athletes might be exposed to these injuries, and as ABC's Lana Zach reports, the findings may surprise you.
Taking one for the team. It's something that millions of American kids involved in contact sports are willing to do. And while such hits don't always lead to concussions and other injuries, many young athletes leave the field with what we now know may be lifelong effects. In a new report, researchers at the University of Michigan find that nearly 1 in 5 teens may have experience with concussions. To arrive at this troubling number, the researchers surveyed more than 13,000 8th, 10th, and 12th graders, estimating that 19.5% reported being diagnosed with at least one concussion in the past. And perhaps even more worrying, 6% of these kids reported more than one such diagnosis. For parents and coaches of kids in competitive sports, it's a wake-up call, underscoring the need for safe play as well as vigilance when concussions are a possibility. With this Medical Minute, I'm Lana Zach.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Some showers around, inland storms, pretty heavy too, bringing some locally heavy rainfall now in northwestern portions of DeSoto County, also southwest Hardee County. That storm right there producing some rainfall rates up to 2 inches an hour. In fact, some areas may be seeing a little bit heavier amounts of rainfall. That's pretty interesting. Some lightning strikes, not many. Once in a while we get a lightning strike here and there, but not a lot of heavy rain. There it is, nearly 3 inches an hour right there. If that were to stay there for an hour, they'd see 3 inches, but it's not. It's moving to the southeast, but it's moving slow at around 10 to 15 miles an hour, so they could get a couple of inches out of there. The dry air, despite the fact that it's here, it's still not enough to suppress the storms. A little bit warmer inland areas today into the low 90s there, and higher humidity allowing those showers and storms to form on that west to northwest wind right now. 83 degrees and the heat index at 89, at least at the airport. 85 our high today. That was below average of 88. 96 the record set back in 1951. 71 was the morning low. And for the rainfall, 11.59 inches of rain for this month, and our yearly total, which typically for the entire year we see about 53 inches of rain. So we're well above that. We still have 3 months to go before the official end of the year too. As far as rainfall goes, here it is, coming back possibly toward the coast late tonight. So what's going to happen is the storm's going to move to the east, and then that easterly wind will start to set up, and that will bring maybe a few showers back late tonight, not much, but it will eventually die out. We'll have a decent day tomorrow with that west coast sea breeze. A little active near the coast, but not much. The rain chance only at 20% tomorrow for coastal locations, a little higher as you move inland. Thursday, similar conditions are anticipated. By Friday, we'll start to see a little bit more action. Well, in the tropics, we continue to watch this storm. This is Lee. It was almost given up for dead there in the deep tropics, but made its way northward, organized, and now could become a major hurricane within the next 12 to 24 hours. This one is weakening now, Maria, as it heads off to the north and eventually off to the northeast. You can see the top winds now at 70, and the gusts as far as 85. It's moving to the north at 7, and the pressure is at 974 millibars. There's the forecast path and track getting picked up by a trough and carried off onto the North Atlantic, and it will be downgraded to a tropical low, or I should say a low pressure system by, it looks like, Friday. Well, here's, again, Lee becoming a major hurricane, then it too getting picked up by that trough and carried off into the North Atlantic. Elsewhere in the tropics, we continue to watch area down here to the south. No organization with it right now, but boy, a lot of moisture left behind from this system, and a little trough of low pressure continues to extend all the way down to Cuba. Temperatures currently much chillier over the northern Rockies and northern Plains states, 56 in Minot, but St. Louis at 92, Chicago again 89 degrees, and 90 in Cleveland, 78 in Boston, 89 in Dallas. For boaters tomorrow, pretty nice out there. Seas 2 feet or less with a light chop. The winds out of the west at 5 to 10 knots. The UV index will be 10, and the beaches will see high right around 86 degrees. Sunset at 7:23, and the forecast tonight, a few inland showers and then partly cloudy skies, maybe some isolated late night showers back toward the coast, I mentioned. And then for tomorrow, look for showers mainly inland again, a high of 89, and the extended forecast does call for dry conditions on Thursday, relatively dry. We'll see a good chance for showers and storms as we approach the weekend, with those afternoon and evening storms coming back into play. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Bob. Time now to check your first alert traffic for the drive home. Right now, traffic is backed up on a stretch of Fruitville Road in both the east and westbound lanes, so keep that in mind if you're heading throughout the area. Rowers from nearly 70 countries are here on the Suncoast for the World Rowing Championships, and so are thousands of their family members and friends. They're eating at local restaurants, shopping, and staying in hotels. ABC7's Haley Wilgus takes a look at the economic impact.
Have you all dined with us before?
Yes. Manager Chad Engel has been welcoming a lot more international guests to Brio Tuscan Grill, including this family from the Netherlands who has a son competing in the World Rowing Championships.
We've had quite a bit of new foot traffic through that. Athletes, they started rolling in last Tuesday or Wednesday. Spectators, very busy Saturday night. So we had quite a few reservations and a lot of walk-ins we see from mostly international folks.
Brio is just one of several businesses in the University Town Center area seeing a boost in customers. The Brio staff welcomes the extra business and the chance to get involved as a sponsor for the event.
We've known about this for months and we've been preparing for weeks. We're actually doing a kind of a donation, hosting 3 separate events over at the new tower on site there. So we're feeding breakfast and lunch.
And according to Visit Sarasota County President Virginia Haley, the impact of the championships extends far beyond the UTC area.
We've created events in every community in the county has a featured event. So downtown Sarasota's shining tonight. All the breweries will be shining tomorrow. So we're giving visitors a taste of the community.
As far as total economic impact, the goal for tourism officials is $24 million. And Haley says there's only been one possible setback.
We lost a few room nights early on because of that unwelcome little visitor we had named Irma. But in what we've seen now, all the hotels are full.
That's expected to continue through the weekend, with more visitors scheduled to arrive for finals. Saturday and Sunday's races are standing room only. Many have never been to the U.S., much less the Suncoast.
They're seeing us for the first time, and we're hearing that they can't wait to come back when they can just relax and be on the beaches.
Repeat visitors mean a long-term economic benefit. Haley Wilkes, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Well, it certainly will be a busy next couple of days as finals get underway this weekend.
Yep. There are a lot of people here to see it, too. All right, entertainment news is next. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Celebrate the end of summer with big savings during the Jeep Celebration event. Going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Shop the area's largest selection of new Jeep Wranglers. Or save big on a new sleek and stylish Jeep Cherokee for as little as $18,999. Drive off today for your next great adventure in a brand new Jeep Renegade for as low as $15,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
I am powerful beyond my wildest imagination.
I will define my future.
I will keep challenging myself to improve.
Because I am a future leader of this great nation.
I will make a difference in my community.
I will not settle for simply chasing my dreams, I will achieve them.
Because I was given a chance.
An opportunity.
At Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America.
The ultimate leadership experience.
Join us. We'll build a new future together.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Florida's coral reefs are declining. Bad news for our oceans and marine life. Fortunately, you can help, and you don't have to dive, you just have to drive. When you purchase Moat's Protect Our Reefs license plate, $25 goes directly to Moat Marine Laboratory, whose research, restoration, and conservation programs are helping this precious natural resource thrive once again. So get your Moat Protect Our Reefs license plate today. You just might hold the key to saving Florida's reefs.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Well, in entertainment news, the horror movie remake It is so popular, a sequel is already in the works.
Yeah, New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers say a sequel to the blockbuster will hit theaters in September of 2019. Since It debuted earlier this month, the film has shattered all kinds of records, including the top-grossing horror film of all time. The Exorcist, which was released back in 1973, made $233 million in the U.S. It has already earned $266 million. Robert Plant is going on tour next year to promote his upcoming album called Carry Fire. The former Led Zeppelin frontman announcing his 2018 tour will begin February 9th in Raleigh, North Carolina. He'll also visit 11 other cities, including New York, Boston, Toronto, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Florida is not on his tour. Plant's new album is set to hit stores and begin streaming on October 13th.
Well, have you ever wanted to go shoe shopping with Carrie Bradshaw? Now a handful of Sarah Jessica Parker fans are getting just that opportunity. Parker is teaming up with Airbnb to lead a special walking tour of the Big Apple. The actress will lead 4 tourists on a shoe shopping extravaganza through Manhattan. Each person did pay $400 to take part, though. And that includes a pair of SJP shoes and, of course, tickets to the New York City Ballet.
Well, here's the sad news of the day. The husband and wife team behind HGTV's remodeling show Fixer Upper say the popular series will end after its upcoming 5th season. In a blog post, Joanna and Chip Gaines write that they need to catch their breath for a moment. The couple says their family is healthy. Their marriage has honestly never been stronger. The show launched in 2013, and the very popular Fixer Upper follows the couple as they redo houses near their Waco, Texas home. Its final season will premiere in November.
Oh, I'm so sad to see that show go. I loved watching that show.
I think what people like about it so much is that that couple is so likable. And I think everyone wants their marriage to be like theirs.
No,
you know, they're
yeah.
so good. Yeah. More news just ahead. Stay with us.